Well, greetings everyone. This is Reverend Chris, and I hadn't expected to come on tonight to share what I'm sharing. I thought about waiting until tomorrow morning to do this, but it is just needing to come out for me. So I am sharing this tonight. And I ask you to stay throughout this entire video because there is a lot coming out here that many of you really need to hear. And I will preface it by saying that this is something that was made known to me obliquely a while back and was brought up to me again indirectly in one of the memory posts on Facebook this morning. And I had come into awareness of what I'm going to impart to you tonight a bit ago. And it came to me, again today. So when I was listening to Simon Park's conversation with Sasha Stone this evening, and he made reference to the same thing, I said, yeah, I really need to talk about this and help people to understand it. We're going to the root of the evil and the control system that we have been under for so long. And the question here is, why did the dark forces that have ruled this planet, why did they need to exert the kind of control upon us that they have been doing? Why did they need to program us to fear and negativity and these response patterns? Why did they need to do that? They could have introduced fearful circumstance. I mean, we all know they feed on the fear and that's nasty energy, right? So they're farming us. But it goes deeper than that. They could have made us fearful or angry in any number of different ways without having to exert the level of control upon us that they have and put in place the almost infinite levels of control and mechanisms to maintain that control and keep us ignorant of them or feeling powerless and helpless about them, believing that we were powerless and helpless. And that's the second point here. Why was that important? So let me go back to the memory that came up for me today, because it's a good way to segue into this whole awareness. A number of years ago, there was a bead shop that I was working in, and there was somebody I worked with who asked me to pray for a relative of theirs who had to do something that was way outside of their comfort zone, was something that the family was really worried about this person because they were going to do this. And this person in the family had what they believed was a chronic condition that normally would prevent them from doing, and they were going on a journey and doing this independent by themselves activity that they had to do. So knowing what I did and who I was as an angel minister, ordained minister, this person I work with came to me and asked me to send up prayers to the angels for this family member so that they would be kept safe and be able to do what they had to do and get back home without incident. So I said, sure. And I sent up the prayers, and that was it. Or so I thought. And, I never thought to ask this person, how did it go? But a couple of months later, this coworker of mine came to me and said, I have to ask you something. And I was okay. What did you pray for my relative that is different than what the rest of us have been praying all of these years? And I was kind of shocked by the question because I thought, okay. And I gave some kind of an answer that was, to me, very unsatisfying, and I'm sure to this person too, just didn't quite answer it. But at that time, I didn't really have a good grip on this. So it got me thinking about why this could be, because not only did this family member head out to do what they had to do and come back and return with flying colors, no issues whatsoever, but they had continued to be more independent, more highly functional than they had been in years and years and years and years. Shocked the whole family. They were like, what's going on here? It's a miracle. So I got to thinking about that. What could the difference be between this family, who is a very, church-going religious family, who is very familiar with prayer and do it all the time? What could have been different? So it came to me eventually that the difference was not so much in the prayer as it was my mindset about the person that I was praying for. It had to do with the fact that I didn't have any, since I didn't know this person, I didn't have any preconceived notions about who they were. I wasn't attaching any conditions of illness or frailty or mental issues. I wasn't attaching any of that to this person. I was just praying for a person that had to do something that was out of their comfort zone to keep them safe and to bring them back, and for them to, let go of the fears that have been holding them back. To be healed of a lot of this stuff, to just bypass all of that and move on, get done what you had to get done and come out from under that. Whereas the family members who were praying for this person saw this person as damaged, as incapable of doing these things, and praying for God to help this incapable person make it through safely. You see the difference in the mental, emotional belief set that was put in place. So then when they were praying, they were laboring under the assumption that this person was damaged and non-functional, and they were asking God to help them in this dysfunctional state get through what they had to do, right? So they were actually reinforcing the dysfunction while they were praying for help. Do you understand what I'm saying here? They, because of their mindset, were literally reinforcing and cementing the manifestation of what they saw as a dysfunction, what this person experienced as a dysfunctional part of her existence, so that they literally were keeping this relative of theirs in the state of dysfunction, even through their prayers. Whereas when I prayed, I didn't see this. I didn't cast this limitation on this person. I just said, look, God, angels, go help this person. Let go of the fears, come out from under the stuff that's been holding them back, and let them fly with, come through this with flying colors, with the greatest of ease, and move forward. That's basically what the prayer was. It's like, get them out, get them back. No problem, simplicity, the ability to take care of everything that needs to be taken care of. And come home. And so that's what happened. The relative went out, did what they had to do, had no hitches, no discomfort, no dysfunction, was great, felt wonderful, was independent, and came home and continued to be more independent and less dysfunctional. So this is, this isn't so much about the miracles of God, which are great and mighty, thank you very much, but it is more about how we impact whether or not those miracles are received the way we think they ought to be, and how we impact other people's conditions. We reinforce the manifestation of what we believe about other people. When we see things about people that we, in our ego state, believe are negative, are unwelcome, dysfunctional, unacceptable, sad, whatever it is that we see in this person that we are judging as not being optimal for that person or for any human person, right? In whatever box we place them in, we're basically taping that box shut. Because it isn't only what we believe about ourselves, it's what other people are placing on us too. And, we say our ego is all about how our ego is what we believe other people believe about us. And yes, that is true. So our ego, takes on that identity. But at the same time, it's everybody else's belief that cements this as part of our reality. So if other people's beliefs were taken away, then the doors open. And we have other possibilities. What do you think, well, I don't judge. All right, so you're walking down the street and you see a homeless guy sitting on the side. He reeks to high heaven. He's filthy. He's got a bottle in his hand and he's got a cup sitting out. What is your first thought when you see that? Your first sensation when you see that, okay? And a lot of you are going to say, oh, I feel so sorry for him. I'm telling you, your very first instinct, before you go into, I feel so sorry for him, what is the first thing you see? And granted, there can be that I feel so sorry for them, but guess what? That I feel so sorry for them is also cementing that condition upon them. because you're assuming that's who they are. All right, so you got that part of it. All right, we are in charge of our reality and everybody else's. So let's take this a step further. The next step is that we, as divinely endowed humans, carriers of the Christed light, and I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what religion you espouse to or none, you are a carrier of the Christed light. This has nothing to do with Jesus, except that he came here to tell us what the heck it was and who we are, really. That's why he was so dangerous. Now, every one of us who is a divine human was created with the ability to create. We were made in God's image, in divine image. And that is what that means, is we were giving the same capabilities on a smaller scale that the God of all creation has. Now, let's move up a little bit further in time to newsflash when we talk about alien beings. All alien beings, right, and all races of beings are not so endowed. They do not all have this creator aspect and ability. Think about that for a minute. Here we are, a divine race of creator beings on this planet, the Garden of Eden, so to speak, right? And we have the ability to create at will, to change our world at will. Well, then along comes this agent of density and fear and darkness and starts moving us into mental mode, right? Instead of takes us out of connection with our divine self and our divine knowing and being. And then at some point along the way, we get genetically modified so that we no longer have direct access to all of the creator DNA. The strands of DNA, the active helixes, have been diminished. And builds a dark grid around this planet, and then it became a prison planet, right? Nobody got off. And the rest of the universe said, no, we're not, you can't come out from there. You're not going to infect the rest of the universe with this garbage. And then they came up with the plan eventually that we are enacting at this time. We are seeing come to fruition, thank you, God. And everybody that's participated as part of this has come in to help with this. But let's flash back to, here we are, divine creator beings. But our awareness of that ability has been turned off, and it has been dumbed down by keeping us in negative, dense states of being. And we aren't aware of the fact that we are creator beings and that we are creating our reality. We are creating a culture and everything around us. Are you starting to come into some realization of where I'm going with this? So here we are, these creator beings who think we're powerless, who have been taught to be powerless by these dark controlling powers and beings, who are using other humans who have been bought into this dark energy and this dark false power that they have been given to exert power and influence over us. For what purpose? Why do you think it was so important for these forces to control our minds? Think about it. Where are we going with this? Our minds are the power, are the directive force, right, behind our manifesting abilities. And those of us who have been studying manifestation, the law of attraction, all of that stuff in the spiritual realms for, any length of time, know that we are manifesting all the time, whether we are aware of it or not. That's being sent out there. And the powers that were had to control our thoughts so that we were creating what they wanted. We were creating their world for them, not ours. Is that sunk in yet? This is the truth that's going to set you free. The fear programs, the anger, all of this negative crap that they have, that use many different means to program us to and respond to, are also that we can create and are being guided to create the world that they want, that feeds their needs and their power and their energy and their very beings, to create a world where sexual perversion, pedophilia, child sex trafficking, slavery, fraud, dishonesty, criminality, drug use, you name it, every bit of it, we created. Like a dog on a bone. Remember, what is it? Have you ever been so angry at something and so upset with something you could not focus on anything else, right? You were just like a dog with a bone. There's a reason for that. That was part of the program. When we would get that angry or that fearful or whatever, we could, we would have to focus on that instead of looking away or going past it or whatever. And what does that focus do? Feeds it. Feeds more of it. Feeds that loose energy and the fear out to those who feed upon it. Foster more and reinforce and validate feelings of powerlessness and helplessness, victimhood, all of that we were trained to believe about ourselves. Are you beginning to understand how powerful we truly are? We have been used to create their evil reality, the debauchery of their culture, the control structures in every aspect of it, including religion. And even if you are part of a church or a religious structure, you know that is true. There are massive control structures involved with that. And anywhere there is a control structure, you're going to find evil. Because at the top of the control structure is the person who's siphoning power off from everybody else. This is the reality and the truth of why we are constantly right now being bombarded with so much fear and anger, and they're trying to chain us into our homes and make us helpless and powerless and feel the fear and be angry and just rage and keep us focused on that. The longer we focus on it, the stronger that manifestation gets for them. We're building their shit again. Is that what you want? Do you want to create more of this? You want to be trapped into creating more of this, like some kind of a mental freaking puppet? That's what we've been for thousands of years. We've been mental puppets, doing the bidding, programmed to do the creative bidding of our masters. Well, it's time to say no. The next time something comes at you that is bringing up feelings of fear in you, and you recognize as creating fear and meant to create fear, say no. Turn it off. Just flat out, you can say out loud, no, I'm not playing that game. Your game is done here in my house because I have the power in my house. And you have made sure that I am in my house right now. So this is my domain and I'm sovereign in it. And I'm taking back my power and I'm saying no. I am not going to participate in creating more of the evil that you thrive on. Not doing it. I'm here to participate in creating a new world, a new way of being based on the golden light of divine love and Christ consciousness and the presence of the divine creative energies working in the light, to bring us up and out of this density and darkness fully and completely once and for all. And if you have watched the earlier video that I did that was about what's going on during this week that we're in now, the 20th to the 26th, that's coming up, right? That light is coming up, and it's coming up and it's getting stronger, and that's breaking through all of this stuff. And there is no better time than now for you to wake up and stop playing their game, to stop being their pawn on their chess set, on their chessboard, to say, no, you have the power to do it. That's why they had to control us, because we had the power all along. If we'd figured that out a long time ago, their butts would have been mud. We'd have broken free of this planet, and this gig a long time ago. But we didn't, because they were so good at what they did. And we were so good at what we did, which is believing all of the crap that they fed us, believing that we were powerlessness and helpless, and playing that role, and in manifesting their stuff for them. So the more of their stuff that we manifest, the more we believed that we were powerlessness, right? We didn't realize we're creating all that stuff. We've been the creative engines for them all this time because they don't have that power. They had to use us to do that. Doesn't that make you angry? And I'm not talking like fly off the handle, pissed off angry. I'm talking about pure gold, iron strong, self-righteous, divine anger. That force for right and truth to prevail, for knowing our own truth and our own power and saying, oh no, Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I'm not fooled anymore. I'm not playing this game, and your ass is grass. I don't care what you bring against me. It's not going to stand against me, because I am claiming my power and my light. And I'm saying, no, this is my home. I'm sovereign in it. You have no power here unless I give it to you. And guess what? I do not anymore for 1 second more. Are you getting the picture now? Are you getting the picture about why it's so freaking important to detach from fear, to send it away from you? Because fear is control. We are programmed to be controlled by fear. The minute you're afraid of something, you're waiting for somebody to come tell you what to do. What do I do with this? Where do I go? And somebody comes in and says, oh, you need to do this or that or the other thing, right? No. If you feel the fear, send it away. Or just say out loud, I nullify this fear. I do not accept it. I neutralize it, and I cast it out from my domain. And anything that is part of it no longer has a home here either. Goodbye. I stand in the light, by the light, and in the service to the light. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So now you know that when you are allowing fear to rule you, you are creating their evil reality. You are complicit in that creation. Stop. You now know that you are complicit in that. You are not any longer an unwitting participant. So take back your power and stop letting yourself be used. Because if you don't take back your power and you do know what you are doing, then there may be consequences you might not be happy with. And I'm kind of getting a big yes on that. Let go of fear. Don't allow it to rule you. You need to take back your power. Now, I understand that this is not a very easy concept. It's not the concept that's hard to grasp, but how to take back your power can be difficult. I'm here. Contact me to set up sessions so that we can move you into that place where you can get there, where you can take that back, where you can release the fear, where you can recognize who you are and get to that place in that center that says no. Period, end of story. No. You know, there is nothing that is going to change your mind or get past this no. I can help you get to that place. So if you look for help and you're needing help, contact me through the email address that's down here or through Facebook. And we'll set up sessions to help you get to that place and get you out of participating in creating the evil that we're trying to free ourselves from. That's what I had to come in here and say tonight. And it was important that I did, and it's important that you hear it and you know it. So I give you all blessings now. I ask the angels to come in and bless you. In this knowledge, your full awareness of it. If you need help, ask for help and find it. They will guide you to the right help. You may need a clearing session to clear all of the entity and negative attachments and devices and programs and all of the garbage that they buried in us all of these eons, right? They're buried in. So ask if you need help. I can help you with this. There are others that can help you with this. Don't shirk back thinking that you can do it yourself. Try it. Yes, I ask you to do, most definitely try it yourself before you turn over right away and say, help me. Try and take on your own power. See where that is. Get a feel for where it's falling apart when you're trying to take back your power. What is the issue? What is the sticking point? All right. See where that is. Try it for yourself. Taking back that power. If you need help getting past those sticking points, then by all means contact me and we will do what's necessary to get you in that place, because you have divine help all around you now that is putting you in a better position to do this than any part of humanity has ever been before. Almost ever been before. All right. So do something to move out of this participatory cycle of powerlessness, helplessness, fear, anger, and creating more of the same evil in this world. 4, the overlords, the feudal overlords and elites of darkness who have controlled you and are using you to create for them. So, enough said. Good night. Have a great week. If you have questions, please put them in the comments below about what you heard. And I don't expect everybody to believe what I'm telling you now or to accept that the conditions and the reasons and any of the rest of that stuff. Some of you will not accept that, and that's fine. That's your path to walk. At some point, you will become aware of the truth. But because you have heard me say this, you can't unhear it. So at some point, it's going to resonate with you, and then you will know. And that's fine. That's the way it needs to be. Or you will turn your back on it and just keep going the way you're going. And that's your choice too, up to a point. You do have a soul contract in which at some point, if you're here on 5D Earth, you're going to know the truth. So, that being said, again, a long-winded goodbye. Love you all, and good night.